Blue.
Blue.
Blue. That's a good opening right there. What were you saying, DB? You got us what?
I got us booked for the hotel for ICCC 2025 next May.
Woohoo!
You are the man.
Not only that, but I got us a couple of suite rooms, and that's suite SUITE. So we're gonna travel in style, gentlemen.
Nice. Tell me about this room.
2 rooms, 2 queen beds, a fold-out couch. We're prepared. You can bring all your stuff to sell.
Yes. That breaks my heart.
Yeah.
And now, on with the show.
Shall we go?
Shall we go?
Shall we go?
Go.
Time for bladder check. Check.
Check.
Check. Wait. Screw it. I'm holding it.
It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men.
Podcasting, the final audio frontier. These are the legends of Brown Squadron.
Our computer is picking up a strange signal. Here, sir, you better take a look at it.
The ongoing mission? To explore the Star Wars universe and other nerd culture topics. To seek new content and new cantinas, bars, and lounges. To boldly annoy Scruffy by making too many bad jokes. Welcome to the Hyperspace Heroes Podcast.
So, question.
What's that?
Quick question.
Yes.
Can we get the instrumental version of that song and then record it over us all singing "It's Raining Scruffy"?
Oh, we could. Yeah.
I am so in.
I've got the rough track of that. Welcome to Hyperspace Heroes. This is Brown Leader signing in. All wings report in.
Brown 2 is signing in.
Brown 4 ready for attack.
Woohoo! Welcome.
Dang.
This is a special Wednesday edition of the show. Happy Thanksgiving early to everybody. We're all going to be tripping on tryptophan tomorrow, so figured we better get this episode out of the way.
I'm tripping on tryptophan right now.
Ooh, there we go. That's the way to go.
Day early,
right?
Hey, did you tell anybody that we were doing it a day early?
I might have posted it here. I don't know. I might have posted it on a couple sites. I don't know. But welcome to everybody that's currently watching. Feel free to jump in the chat like normal. So, as we all know, I know this is episode 113 or 138 on the Spotchka scale. And being that it's the night before Thanksgiving and all through the house, the gravy was boiling. No, I don't know where I'm going with that. I don't know where I'm going with that either. My bad. So anyway,
but it's good. It was good
for us growing up, and now it's because of online purchasing and the power of Amazon and everything. You can order anything pretty much anywhere, and everybody starts their Black Friday sales early. But traditionally, the day after Thanksgiving was really kind of the start of the capitalistic shopping season of our worlds here in the United States. And so I wanted to bring on a guest tonight to kind of kick that off in a way. And it was somebody that kind of came across on Instagram, just happened to just see one of his posts. And as a collector, it really pulled at my purse strings and
tugged your wallet out of your back pocket.
Yeah, pretty much. And so, no, it had something. There was a hook. It drew me right in. And so we're going to be bringing on Vincent here in just a minute from Carbonites, which is a collectibles line, and wanted to kind of show off his stuff as maybe something to consider for this holiday season. But I can say I am a purchaser, supporter, nice, as he calls them. But there's a lot of cool things Vincent does with his line. He does with his and behind the scenes stuff too. And so I thought involving things like charities and stuff like that. So I wanted to I thought it was a great way to just kind of kick it off. We're all a lot of our viewers, the three of us obviously are collectors. So wanted to kind of tie into those things and
I love how it
do something a little different.
I love how it became the three of us instead of the two of us. I love how we made you one of us.
Read between the lines.
He has come to the dark side.
Yes,
So,
he has. And we got him into that one to keep in the box and one to open. Instead. I love that.
Did you see what I sent you guys today? We could start an army of zeros. Their toy collector had him down to $10 a zero. So Black Series. So, but
you lost me.
To kind of tease the line that we're going to talk about here. DB,
really?
DB, why don't you do yours as well? So Vincent was wonderful enough to create characters of us in his line, which I don't think we can get any better than that, honestly, guys.
That's epic.
Right?
Hey, I'm just going to stay this way because this is better looking than I am. So.
I wouldn't say that.
He was generous.
He was very generous with his time, and we truly appreciate that.
Oh, hell, I was just talking about his artwork.
Very funny. Very, very funny. So let me see. Right before we bring him on, I want to show this to everybody. And
please follow those words up with something good.
Well, I am wearing my Grogu pajama Santa, or my Grogu Christmas pajama pants. You want to see those? Just kidding.
Wait, which part? Do we want to see them, or you're wearing them?
I'm wearing them.
Actually, I'm wearing Grogu pajama pants too.
So Vincent created these for us. There is Brown Leader, obviously, Scruffy,
Gonk Droid,
and Droid Bait. And did a wonderful job. So you're going to start seeing these pop up on our social media a little bit more for sure. And there's Vincent as well. I believe that's a character of him, and we'll find out here in just a moment. But you guys ready to meet him?
Absolutely.
All right, let's bring him on. Vincent from Carbonites. Vincent.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, there he is.
Hey,
how's it going?
I heard it was raining men. Apparently, I'm the only one who brought a windbreaker.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Came prepared with my army of zeros instead.
Mm-hmm.
So,
nice.
That's pretty great that he was on sale.
Yeah, I know, right? Toy Collector, Star Wars Toy Collector on Facebook and Twitter Facebook and Instagram. He is the guy to follow, and he's always posting great deals like that. So, for sure. Welcome to the show, Vincent. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what your line is?
Yeah, you did a wonderful job introducing everybody to what Carbonites are. I'm really happy the three of you enjoy how you look in Carbonites form. Droid Baits. Awesome. The goal is to make everybody look very cute. Sometimes their eyeballs look a little lifeless, but it's a wonderful style. So Droid Bait, I'm happy you thought that maybe I made you look even better in Carbonites form.
Yeah. You definitely
I love getting to check out the photos, you guys. Well, I loved getting to check out the photos of you guys from ICC ICCC. That always trips me up. I always forget about the last C.
Right.
And the outfit you guys wear. Yeah, it's one of the coolest parts about Carbonites is really researching the characters. And while it is inspired by, and they are my own artworks, taking the time to really study these costumes, their design. Sometimes they're just to make, even more cute, and sometimes they're too ugly to make cute. But with Carbonites, Carbonites themselves are more, they're more than simple caricatures. They are artisan artworks we designed for completionists and cater to collectors. Consistency is the utmost importance to our team. And Carbonites themselves, our goal is to make this worth your time as it is my time to make them. The package themselves, we kind of landed on a lucky number of 6. When I looked throughout the galaxy far, far away, there were 6 members of the Bad Batch. Not if you count Omega, but if you count Gonki. There are 6 bounty hunters in The Empire Strikes Back on board the Star Destroyer. If you look at like the main characters from A New Hope, there really is 6 plus Ben Kenobi. If we count 3PO, 6 really seem to be. And I thought that just really emphasizes a good amount of value, but also gives you enough characters to build out a battle or to build out a scene. Now, the thing with Carbonites, they're not posable. In fact, I'm going to open them up right now. They are stationary, but the thing with Carbonites is that they are stackable. So, hey, I see Brown Leader has his as well. So when you open up a pack of Carbonites, you're going to get all 6 characters kind of lined up from left to right. And each has, if I can put these out here, each has its front side, its side, its back side. The pattern will continue onto the head, and then underneath, that'll be stamped. In this case, we have the blue amphibian man. Carbonites, the goal was to create a simple silhouette, but the goal was also to fill the holes of collectors. And I mean, as a collector, I have many into collection, but there's also just a lot of things that never come out. So an example of that is this is what got me into Star Wars as a kid, and they were the Galactic Heroes. Do any of you guys have any of these?
Yes.
I've got about a dozen of them.
Yeah, when my daughter was very young, that was my starter pack for her. Were the Galactic Heroes.
I love that, and as it was mine, there was something so effective to me about the 2 characters they would pick in each pack, and sometimes they didn't really make a ton of sense, but that was also the fun of it, and the fun of it was also getting the other packs to combine characters. So in the last wave of Galactic Heroes, they came out with the Delta Squad, and that was Fixer here, and then Boss right here. There we go. Now we're centered. And I love these guys. And of course, the line was canceled, but that means that they never made Sev and Scorch, which are the other 2, to complete Delta Squad. And that I mean when I say collecting, it's more than just, oh, I missed out on that crazy cool convention exclusive. It's the harsh reality that some of these will just never get made. My heart goes out to the people in the vintage collection. Are they only at Hunter for the Bad Batch, but they're missing the rest of the crew?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and so I know that's just a big part of collecting, and that's also part of the joy. But the goal with Carbonites, when I launched the first collection, it was inspired by what I would call TM-2019, and it was 8 individual packs, in this case, chapters or cases, and it would flesh out a pretty big array of characters from that particular show. And the goal is to try to make as many characters as I can, but really try to focus on the characters that don't exist in any figure form of any type.
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool concept. That's a cool concept. Before we dive any further into that, Vincent, one of the first questions we always ask our Star Wars guests is, and you kind of touched on a little bit of how you got into this line, being Galactic Heroes and what was missing, but what does Star Wars mean to you?
Yeah, I love that you guys asked this question. I love that many different podcasts have their icebreaker to really get the conversation rolling, but I love this one. And I guess you could say this is what Star Wars means to me. 2019, my friends and I, we were on the University of Cincinnati campus, and there it was like a campus Buffalo Wild Wings. And so it's the fall. we go down on a particular Monday night, and it was to watch some Monday Night Football. And my 2 roommates were kind of shocked I was going with them because they would go often. And they're like, Vincent's into football, but not like that, you know? So, okay, maybe he's just extra hungry. But I had ulterior motives. I was going because that night they were supposed to screen the first full trailer for The Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
And I couldn't wait. And they would do this all the time with Star Wars. Like for the Super Bowl, I think the year prior, didn't they do the Solo trailer or something like that?
Yeah.
So we go down there, of course, and very quiet during every commercial break because they never tell you when the trailer is going to air. So, and then, of course, during the game, I'm very quiet when everybody else is talking. And it's pretty packed in there. And the trailer finally comes out, and it's right when we were getting served our food. And the waiter probably said, you know, they'll say like, all right, we got 12, you know, golden garlic wings. Who ordered these? And then you go, oh, me. And the waiter probably said it like 5 or 6 times before I turned around and then, oh, thank you, because I was too busy watching the trailer. And that's what Star Wars means to me. It's doing all of these things you wouldn't otherwise do, but Star Wars brought you there to do it. Star Wars is so many things. I mean, it's simple realizations, like realizing you can never invite Sebulba into your car because he's going to put his feet up on your dash. And there's nothing you can do about it because George Lucas makes us all in our own shapes and sizes. But ultimately, Star Wars to me is a connection between religion and, you know, I have my faith, and it's very different from the Force, but there's themes there that connect with me. And I think what Chirrut Imwe said with, you know, I'm one with the Force is with me. When I heard that, that reminds me of certain things I had said in regards to my faith. And of course, family, which family is so relatable as it is and throughout the Skywalker saga lineage. So Star Wars is many things, but what it is to me is just a great way to connect with who I am, put it on the screen or on the small screen or in video games. And I just can't help but be connected to it every single time.
That's very cool.
Excellent.
I'm sorry. I cannot get this vision of Sebulba in the passenger seat of my car, and I'm like, dude, get your feet off the dash.
Right?
You could picture it. That's what you kept telling me on the way drive down to ICCC.
Yes, we're not allowed to bring a drink into his car.
Brown leader, get your feet off my dash. Get your feet off my dash. Didn't you wash those things? Jesus.
Well,
that's very cool. DB?
I'm going to deviate from my usual question. And you know, having seen my Carbonite, I want to know, how long did you take to get my hair just right?
DB,
that's not the real question. Don't even. So, can you remember, or do you want to tell us about your first Star Wars experience?
Yeah, like many, Star Wars to me has just been around all of my life. I don't think I can point to that first time I remember really clicking with Star Wars. But what I can point to, I came prepared. I try to bring a few things that would tie in if the conversation went there. So my favorite Star Wars memory is actually the one, like the first Star Wars memory that I can remember. And that was going to Star Wars weekends long before Disney had acquired Star Wars. And let's see, I'm going to cover up 2 people here. But this would be a young Vincent right there. And then this would be Anakin, Shaak Ti, Kit Fisto, and Mace Windu all against the Coruscant background.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Oh, neat.
The reason this photo means so much to me, I'm going to cover these 2 folks again, is that this shirt I'm wearing, right? At the time, I was very much into Boba Fett and Jango. So,
of course,
this white shirt, of course, coolest character, right?
Coolest character.
So,
right, Scruffy?
Absolutely.
These shirts I'm wearing, they were like simple Hanes, just all white t-shirts, probably as cheap as they come. But my mom, bless her heart, she ironed on our favorite character, right? And we're in line to stand next to just Mace Windu, Shaak Ti, and Kit Fisto. Anakin wasn't there. And we're maybe like third in line. There's 2 people ahead of us. And the person at Disney comes up to us and says, hey, we're going to be, these people need to go do Jedi business, and Anakin's going to come out instead. And you're going to get a photo with him. And I was kind of sad, I think, because I always liked Kit Fisto, and Shaak Ti looked gorgeous. I mean, she just had this very regal look to her. The gentleman doing Mace Windu was doing a fine job. You could tell, that's not Sam Jackson, but Shaak Ti, the makeup really hid the intrigue there. Though that might just be her. So,
right.
So, anyways, the crew, they kind of usher out the characters, but then Anakin walks right by us, and he's like, "Young man, let me look at these shirts." And I remember he said, and I was 8 years old at the time, but I remember him saying, "Why am I not on any of these shirts?" And I think one of the people I was in the photo with, they had a picture of the Emperor, but Anakin did say, "Ooh, but I do like that shirt. I'll tell you what, let me get a photo with the 3 of you, with also the other Jedi." So Anakin, the chosen one, always breaking the Jedi rules, he let us skip the line by 2 people, and we were the only person at the park that day to get a photo with all 4 of those Jedi.
That's very
what
cool.
a neat memory.
Very cool.
That's a very cool story. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
Thank you, guys.
That is very cool. Very cool. So let's go back to Carbonites. Ubaldi, how you doing, sir? Welcome. And yes, he's probably stuffing the turkey right now.
Tripping on the tryptophan.
So how did you start Carbonites? What was you kind of talked about creating you saw a need because you weren't able to finish your Galactic Heroes. And what was when did you start the company after that?
Yeah, so the first prototype was all the way back in 2011, and this is what they looked like. These were on like Jenga blocks, like the Jumbling Tower game.
Oh yeah.
And they're just using like Sharpie. There's nothing else to it. But the cool thing is that I use this metallic Sharpie for the background. And this was because, a lot of these characters have like a black outline or even like a brown or something to them. Mm-hmm. But I went with silver. It just felt like, if you've ever used a metallic Sharpie before, they can actually draw over black Sharpie, which is very rare. So as a kid, I just came to that realization that would be the best way to like section off so you don't see like the wood behind them. As I grew older, it reminded me of Carbonite, because here in person, they kind of have like a shimmer to them, and they're already in, blocky. So there was something there. And then, so I came home from college like many did that was March of 2020 because of the pandemic. All the classes moved to being online. And after doing online classes for long enough, the program I'm in, they make you do like 4 to 5 internship rotations, and they call them co-ops. So I did not find an internship. So when that happens, the next thing that you do is you either like work with a professor all semester long, or you get to work on like an upskilling course. So sharpening your skills, but also using those skills, dedicating them towards one single project. And with that project, you show how your skills have improved. So I found these guys because I thought they were great. And these were still on my desk when I came home from college. And then I was pretty inspired by Clone Wars Season 7 because it came out during the pandemic, and just I loved Clone Wars growing up. So I made these. And I see they're getting a pretty bad reflection. But
that's okay.
Cool.
That's very cool.
Thank you. These were also using Jenga blocks, just a little bit shaved down. And I did the same thing. I did the marker on them, but it just didn't look professional enough to me if this is something I ever wanted to mass produce. So I took it into Photoshop and Illustrator with these designs. And from there, Carbonites began. And that's what I worked on for a whole semester. And when the semester was over, I had the option just to ditch the project. I sharpened my skills, or I could keep it going. And I decided to keep it going because I realized that I loved it. I really loved it.
That's very cool.
That's awesome.
Very cool. And now, were you a collector before you started the line?
Yes. Yeah, I actually collected many things. Lego, Galactic Heroes being the biggest. But I loved Lego because I always loved the starships,
Mm-hmm.
And I had a little bit of Black Series at the time. And but my favorite Black Series figure was this one. So this was Enfys Nest.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Enfys Nest came in like this thing, right? She came with her swoop bike, and I liked the swoop bike. It's cool. But this was like the window for Enfys Nest. And there was something about it that didn't do it for me because I liked the boxes of all the other Black Series figures. So with my one teacher that I had in high school, who was it was a graphics-based course. I was talking to him about it one day because he was also a Star Wars fan. And he's like, I see why you're frustrated that she's in the big speeder thing. But I also don't get it. He's like, you can just create a custom box for her. And I'm like, you're right. So he was teaching me how to do Photoshop and Illustrator. And together, he and I created this, like a custom Black Series box just for him. And this is where, thank you. This is probably the first time I entered into the custom sphere of things because I hacked open a Black Series box, cut it out, saw how it all folds.
Right.
And I was like, okay, that's really cool. So I took some of that knowledge, applied that to Carbonites as well. But how about you guys? When did you start collecting?
Well, the dinosaurs were roaming the earth.
Oh, go ahead, DB. You start.
I can tell you exactly when I started collecting.
Okay.
Late May of 1978, when the line was first hitting the stores. My dad bought me R2-D2 at a toy store called Circus World. I don't know if they still exist or not.
No.
They don't exist?
No, they don't.
But from that point on, anytime I brought home an acceptable report card, my parents would buy me an action figure. And of course, by Christmas 78 and 79, you see all this stuff behind me.
I sure do.
I was getting the Death Star and the Falcon and the X-Wing and all that stuff for Christmas and so on. And yeah, I was spoiled. My parents took care of me, and my mom never understood why 45 years later these things are still in her basement. So now they're in my basement.
That's awesome.
Scruff.
Well, yeah, it was pretty much the same thing. May of 78, I started, my brother and I started getting Star Wars and stuff for Christmas. And I kind of lost interest in it somewhere around when I turned 14. So probably 85 probably, because cars and girls were cooler back then.
Yeah.
And so it all sat in the parents' basement. And then sometime right around 1999, I'm now married. I have a mortgage, a daughter. And my wife and I walk into Sam's Club, and there in the middle of this Sam's Club aisle is this bin full of Star Wars action figures from Phantom Menace. And I was looking at them, and my wife could tell I was really checking it out. She's like, why don't you buy a couple? And that is probably the one thing she ever said that she probably regrets the most. Because I picked up a few, then I picked up a few more. Then I remember Mom and Dad's house. So I brought all that stuff home, and I was like, well, I need to complete some of these sets because some things got lost, and now I need to complete this, and now I need to complete that. So now what you see behind me is probably 10% of the entire collection in the basement of this house.
Wow.
So it just blew up from there. Adulting, I have adult money now, so hey, let's tear this up. But fortunately, my wife is very supportive of the hobby. She's very supportive of the collection. She figures there's far worse things I could be spending money on than that. So
that's true,
and it's much cheaper than my other passions. So We'll go with that.
For me, at work, I don't really talk a lot about, I keep work and personal life separate pretty much. And, but once my employees kind of learned that I enjoyed Star Wars, they would start, at Christmas time, if they wanted to get me something, that kind of thing. At the time, Funko Pops were not that expensive. They still aren't, as a Star Wars related item. And, so I'd get a few at Christmas here and there, or birthdays. And, but in 2019, after all my kids were grown and out of the house, I made the mistake of going to Celebration in Chicago with Scruffy. And it was long before this show existed. And he was like, well, let's go down. And because we all work in the same place. And I said, okay, I've never been to one. It sounds like fun. I enjoy Star Wars. I love, always when my kids grew up, I took them to the films that came out when they were growing up. We'd always go see the Thursday night showing before it came out, all that kind of stuff. And I loved it. And I would I was able to buy toys again once for the kids, as they were growing up. My youngest Brownie one, he's a big Vader fan and had Vader everything when he was little. But I went to Celebration Chicago with Scruff and was looking at everything, and I started kind of absorbing what this was all about. And I don't have it handy, but we went to the Mando panel, and it was before the show came out, and they were giving away free posters for Mando. And that was probably my gateway drug right there. And
first one's free, man.
First one's free. First taste is free, right?
Sucker.
And I was watching Scruffy meanwhile out in the vendor booths, bartering, and haggling over price and this and that. And it was and then the second mistake I made was starting this show with these guys and hanging out with them as much as I've hung out with them, and it has slowly crept its way into my persona. So
we wore them down.
You did wear me down.
You've come a long way in 5 years.
You've come a long way, Padawan. We'll get you there. You'll be a master someday.
You can cut that braid soon.
Yes. Go cordless.
Well, Brown Leader, the gentlemen were saying how they convinced you to maybe buy 2 of things nowadays, one to keep sealed, one to keep open. So since you might be new to that, what is something that would apply to like the 2 rule?
And I don't do it with everything. I that's kind of one of the running jokes on the show. I try to do it for them more than they do it for me.
He does.
What did I get 2 of? That I have not opened. It depends on if I can get it at a really super good price. I'm not paying retail, and if I can get something at a really good discount, then I'll consider buying 2. So that's the first.
Reminds me of my favorite line. Someday it's going to double in value and be worth half of what I paid for it.
Yes.
So I did get this is an example of one.
That's so cool.
Kohl's had these the year they came out. They had these 3 packs, and it was cheaper than buying them individually. And plus, I think I had some Kohl's cash. And so, but funny enough, they're both still in the boxes. I have not broken one out yet. What else? That's I don't really have a ton that I do 2 of. It's more egging them on with it.
Yeah, it's a whole different rule of 2 than the Sith use.
Yeah, he does a great job with it. I got stuff around me that I have 2 of and sometimes 3 of.
Right, if you guys look right above my finger here, I have 3 of the 6-inch George Lucas and Stormtrooper outfit. Haven't opened any of them. But there was such a killer deal, I just kept buying them.
Well, I will say one of the biggest impacts to collecting that I've had because of these guys is now I don't even want to take anything out of the box. I want to leave it in the box. For one of the things I was determined to do. So when I started building an R5 army, I did get a Black Series R5, and I think we open this on air. I think we opened it on air.
I think so.
during one of the episodes, and I was determined. I'm like, if I get a Black Series, I'm opening it because he's going on the desk, and that was painful. And this is coming from somebody that has not been collecting very long, but hanging out with these yo-yos, and it was
that's the politest thing you've ever called us.
It is, but it's been it was super painful to open this. I still have the packaging too. I have not thrown away the packaging, and I need to.
Don't go down that path.
Yeah,
don't go down that path, bro.
But one of the things one of the reasons I asked you about collecting was, and I'm going to bring this up on the screen.
Oh, by the way, that's an impressive Black Series collection you got going on behind you there. The helmets, that's cool. That is awesome.
I really appreciate it. I can't take all the credit. I have a brother who loves to help look for me when he's out deal hunting and everything. So thank you, Scruffy. I appreciate it. You guys as well. Very impressed.
So one of the things, the reason I asked the question was because you have this picture on your website.
Oh, that's cool.
And I could tell just even before you and I started really communicating, when I saw that picture and I saw the layout that you have of your stuff, that you are a collector at heart, pure as an entrepreneur. You know what the collectors are looking for, and you have completely designed and branded your line for the collector, and that's truly impressive. Because if you look at this picture and you look at the Black Series behind you, I mean, you can totally tell the influence of being a collector and what it's done to your line. And I was super impressed with that when I saw that on your site.
Thank you. That's about the biggest compliment I can receive.
Awesome.
And,
that's awesome.
See if I can get this bigger. No, that's as big as it's going to go. But yeah, so that's why I was curious about that. And let's you know what? Let me bring that. Let me bring your site back up, and we'll go into a little more of what you have, and so that the folks watching, and if you're listening to this afterwards, go to the YouTube video right around the 37-minute mark or so, and we're going to start going through the website, and you can kind of see this. But while I'm bringing up on the screen, where can people find your line?
Yes. So on Instagram, which as of this current moment is the only social media that I use, the handle is Carbonites _CO for Carbonites Company. And then on the website itself, which you can access through Instagram, but the website itself is carbonites.company.site.
Okay.
And that's how you'll find me.
Nice.
Thank you.
Let me do this really quick.
I like how you got those categorized.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm telling you, everything he designs on this site is just it's for the collector. He has nailed the demographic perfectly in terms of how he's designed everything. I'm super impressed.
That's some very high praise. I really appreciate it. There are some very talented people that work at Lego, that work at Funko, that work at Hasbro, that work at Bandai. And as a designer, I really appreciate all the different companies, all their different iterations of some of these beloved characters. And, for myself, going back to what Scruffy said about, hey, Brown Leader, never throw out the boxes. For me, I think there's that push and pull of being an in-box collector or an out-of-the-box collector. But the boxes, to me, are just as much a part of what you're paying for as what you're getting on the inside. There was some artwork put into it. There was some time put into it. Even if it feels lazy at times, that's part of the thing you're buying. And so for me, with Carbonites, I wanted to take everything into account that I could. And that even comes down to the layout of the website. It was a very long process, but there were many questions of people that I asked and took tallies of who should be the face of certain categories. And that was a very tricky pool of responses because everybody has different ideas as to who represents what. But with these categories here, the movies, television shows, video games, books, comics, and more, the goal was to choose two characters where you look at them and you go, okay, I only think of that character in regards to the TV shows, even if they pop up in movies. but the goal was for that to be the first thing you would think of. So saying that I designed it for collectors to appreciate and understand, I really appreciate that. And I've been so fulfilled that of the people that have checked out the website, who have found products, they didn't need their hand to be walked as they find it. You know, people are very clever, and I'm happy that they caught on to know how to navigate it.
So,
Right.
when you look at a packaging, you're really truly appreciating the artwork in that packaging.
Yes, sir.
See-
Gregory Titus, who did the Black Series artwork, those are maybe some of the best illustrations of those characters I've ever seen.
See, I just not too long ago started really looking for the vintage boxes from our child, because that represents my childhood. That's what I stared at on those shelves for hours, agonizing over what do I want next. And I really started a search to find some of those boxes again and stuff. And I would love to get Kim Simmons on the show. I don't know if you're familiar with Kim Simmons, but he was the original photographer and designer of some of those images on those boxes and stuff.
That would be wonderful for your guys' sake. I hope you can interview him. I would love for more people to get to know about him as well. Absolutely brilliant work.
We've talked to him at cons several times, and the guy loves to talk about his work. And did we get to talk to him on camera at one point this year?
Yeah, in fact, if you go to our YouTube on the live tab and you scroll back a little bit, you'll get to see we did the 15-minute with him at ICCC, and that is up on our YouTube only. I'm still waiting for the master footage so that I can start to so I can throw the audio versions of all of that out there. But the video version is up from when we were live at ICCC.
I thought maybe we had done it, and I would love to get him on our regular show, because he just has such an insight and a history of design from that era. It's amazing. You would love. We should have you sit in while we do it, because he's amazing.
Yeah, he's a good storyteller, and we got into the weeds a little bit with him in the 15 minutes that we had about cameras and lenses and setting, how they even came up with the concepts to design each shot, how they were going to frame things and all of that. And it was pretty cool. But back on your site, one of the other things that you do that completely nails the collector is, so I zoomed in on the TV section here, TV shows, and you then break it down between some different shows. But then we'll dive into Clone Wars. Oh, if I clip over to the right screen, dive into Clone Wars, and you've got all the sets that you have, and really nice pictures of everything in terms of what you get. But what it really pulls at you as a collector is the coming soons. It's that there's more coming to the series, and if anything bites at Scruffy, I know it's when you've got, he starts a collection. So my the biggest thing that I do to just drive Scruffy crazy is I get him the first and second editions of something, and then I step back, because I know that the bug is going to sit in, and he's got to get the third and the fourth and the fifth and I love how you don't just like start one series, you've started several series, and then you've got holes, so that by the time people have collected, the Phantom Crew here, for instance.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that cool? By the time they do that, they know, at some point, where was it? Two things, actually. You've got the Phantom Crew season 1, you've got the Phantom Crew season 3, which are slightly different. Again, going after the collector, because Scruffy's got to have every version of a said character. And
sadly, yes.
Right. No, I mean, this is all compliments. And then you've got those pieces that are like, now you've got the salivating going, because once they have both of the Phantom Crews, it's like, okay, what's going to be the next set? What's going to be the next set? And it really digs at the whole collector's mentality. So I wanted to point that out and say kudos on that.
And the fact that you're not doing it chronologically.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So once I get the one, I got to go back and get the other ones.
Well, that's the thing too,
cool.
Brown Leader. When you were looking at, the R20 2014 and looking at the S3 line, which is 2016, you click on that first case for the Phantom Crew S3, and it says 07 opposed to 02 because we only have 2 cases. So clearly this one should be 02 in the line, not 07. But hopefully, to your point, it can communicate to certain folks that this is very pre-planned and that there is 02 saved on my notepad on my laptop, and 03 I've gone through pretty much every property out there, and I have tallied up, and I have, similar to Galactic Heroes, I would get giddy about the pairings, the who's going to be packaged with who. And I went ahead and I took care of all that. And the reason being is that it's hard to designate a case when, if you don't pre-plan it, you'll realize later down the line, wait a second, why was this person here? It would have made much more sense if they were an 09 opposed to 07. So hopefully that can be a little bit tantalizing to certain folks. And I'm happy that it seems to come across that way.
Yeah, it sucks us in. Yes,
it's right. Perfect way to say it, Scrubby. And I love your naming conventions too. I love you have so much fun with it. Here's the Phoenix Crew, and it's Sassy Tangerine, Asteroid Mech, the Blind Samurai, the Street Rat Samurai,
Green Twilight Maternal Pilot.
Right?
That's awesome.
Absolutely love it. And then
that's cool.
I know
we lost him.
He's gone.
He is out of here. The show is oh god.
Okay, we're unleashed, Scruff. Let's go.
He's he
made it back. We were just about to get juicy stuff too.
I meant to hit the back arrow on the site, and I hit the back arrow on StreamYard and took the but and also I know Scruffy, you played it a while back. I just wanted to welcome Kristen, who made a comment earlier too, for jumping in the chat. Thank you, Kristen. Appreciate that. But yeah, the everything is, you've got it all laid out, man. I'm just so impressed, and that's like another reason I wanted to bring you on, because you've nailed the collector, and it's just, yeah, I just can't get over how impressed I am with all this.
No, your foresight, your planning is amazing, because I'm still waiting for my 1978 Tarkin. So
yeah, so are the rest of us, bro. So are the rest of us.
One of the other things that you do. No, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, all right. Didn't Gentle Giant, didn't they do like a mega-sized Tarkin?
Yes, they
I've
did.
got one right over here, actually.
Yeah, and that was last year. That was last year's Christmas.
Yep, Scruffy bought us those last Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Wait,
you're good for...
Scruffy and DB, wait till you see what I just ordered you guys for Christmas today, and I think I'm going to outdo the Tarkin. So.
I'm sure it's the intro to something that I might have to go finish the collection on.
No, it's a complete standalone. There's no series behind it.
No way.
Yeah, but it's something you guys can, yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that another day. But no, one of the things that you also that I noticed that you do, Vincent, is see if we can find the right tab. I think it's under your impact. So you do donations of every purchase. Yeah. $1 goes to charities, one of 3 charities. And not only does it go to a charity, but as the consumer, the buyer, they get to choose which charities that they're giving that $1 to.
Yes, this is true. It was hard to narrow it down just to 3. There were so many that are personal to my heart that I wanted to select. But I feel like the three we went with, I mean, first of all, you just can't go wrong. Doesn't matter which one you pick. But the three, Rancho Obi-Wan, perfect for the Star Wars fan who wants to preserve Star Wars any way they know how. And Starlight, they partner up with Star Wars and Lucasfilm, and they'll do Disney Plus packages for hospitalized children. They'll do like Star Wars gowns. I saw some rad photos of like a Chewbacca gown. It almost looks like a Snuggie or something like that.
That's awesome.
And, you know, I just think about, you know, if that was me, I'm very lucky to say I'm here right now. So my heart goes out to everybody that could be them. But if that were to be me, it would just put an immense smile on my face wearing that Chewbacca Snuggie. And then, okay, on the TV, they only have the news channels, but due to Starlight, they now just bought Disney Plus for the hospital. To be able to watch some of those shows, the smile impact is at least multiplied by 4 or some, you know, random number. And then Plant with Purpose, you know, we use a lot of paper with Carbonites. There's no way around it. We went with more paper than we went with plastic. The only plastic you're going to get with Carbonites is the wrapper for the mint that's in the box and like the packaging tape. But beyond that, it's all paper products. So Plant with Purpose, for $1, which is $1 per pack of Carbonites, they put that dollar into preparing a tree to be planted. So I feel like there was really good return on, okay, you put $1 down on their website. They make it very clear all the ways that dollar gets spent. And I really feel like those three kind of encompass the ethos of Carbonites.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and so I did buy. So I bought 3 sets from you, Vincent, and I will tease the guys. There's your 2 sets you're getting at Christmas. I'm not going to show you which ones they are. But so all 3 of our dollars went to Starlight Children's Foundation, and it was really cool that you were able to. What was the process like being able to coordinate with those charities to say that, you know, hey, I'm an entrepreneur and I want to give $1 of my, you know, each sale to you guys? What's that process kind of like?
Yeah, it's really simple. I would love to say that I got to speak to Steve Sansweet, who heads Rancho Obi-Wan.
Very cool.
But that didn't happen through GoFundMe, which was the most viable way to track your dollar as to where it was donated, and you can follow it. With GoFundMe, there is this like plexiglass they put up between you and the charity itself. So they're not notified that you even started a GoFundMe campaign, and they're really only notified once the campaign ends. And then that's when I hope to have good communication with all 3. But for right now, there's just, to your point, that introductory email. Hey, here's something that I'm going to be doing. You get kind of a copy paste response back, but it's that acknowledgement, which is really good. And the reason that I wanted to do this, are you guys big Marvel fans by chance?
I like it.
I guess we'd kind of be called normies in terms of Marvel.
Okay. So Stan Lee, he's one of my favorite personalities, and there's a very long documentary, but there's a certain snippet, you can find it on YouTube, and it's called What I'm Most Proud Of. I think it's clip 32 out of 44 in the documentary. I used to watch this clip maybe daily over COVID. So the person asked Stan Lee, what's the thing you're most proud of? And he's like, well, you know, when I was doing all these comics, I kind of contemplated, does it really matter? There's people that are curing disease. There's people that are building bridges, and I'm drawing comic book characters. But the way the interview kind of ends, or this portion of it, he says, but you know, I realized something. The most famous people in the world are entertainers, and people pay good money to be entertained. And so Stan Lee says, if I could sit back and entertain people for a little while with my comic book characters, And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe entertainment's the most important thing. So with Carbonites, I understand $1 is very small, but when it's combined, Brown Leader, you were so generous. You got 3 packs. That's $3, and it adds up pretty quick. And I realized that yeah, Carbonites, it's not building bridges, it's not curing disease, but it is entertainment, and it does reach its audience, and can be fulfilling for the right people. Um, and but if I could put $1 and take that dollar somewhere else, that's actually somebody else's dollar, what it does is it just broadens the impact, and it makes me love what I do even more, knowing that it's not just going to be me that benefit, or the 3 of you, or anybody else with the product itself. Hopefully there'll be outside benefits from people that don't even really know what Carbonites are.
Yeah, no, that's very cool, and that's wow, yeah. I got nothing snarky to say from that whatsoever.
Well,
Yeah, no, that's very cool, and it's in again, another reason I wanted to bring you on. I wanted you to be able to plug that, and then the final thing I want to just kind of transition over to talking about Carbonites is that you are building community along with that, not just the donation, but you're building community on your site. Because one of the things that was cool was that when I made the purchase, I got a certificate of supporter status. I'm not a customer, I'm a supporter, and tying that in with the charity, and it builds a sense of community, and it's a very cool thing. And not only do you do that, but and I'm going to bring it up on the screen here on your site. If people write reviews, you're throwing the love right back out. And Delphi Rangers bought some. They're fans. He's a fan of the show, usually in the chat quite often. And then look at that right there.
oh yeah.
And again, it's about that giving back. You're building a community, because it's been funny since you and I started doing social media for this episode. Sergeant Creel all of a sudden started following us. I followed him back, or him or her. And you see those connections starting to get made. A Delphi Rangers came over, and bought some stuff from you, and then has been chiming in on chat. And you guys have been discussing things, and I just love the whole spider web effect that it has in terms of creating community.
Thank you. It's somebody will come to Carbonites, and I'm very grateful that they come to it to support me, but I'm very big on how can I return that favor. So it is incredibly simple, and but I know for some folks it goes a long way. I would be a part of the Hasbro supporter tile or tab, or I'm a big fan of footwear, so maybe even on that side of things, how cool would it be? It's the little satisfaction about seeing your name on a wall or something. And it's just neat. But if any way I can direct people back to what you guys do, because I think what you do is awesome, then I would be so happy to be the conduit for that. If you come to me for Carbonites, I'm grateful, but I will always try to return the favor any way I can.
No, it's cool. It's about giving value. And I have found that we have made a lot of friends on this show. Our third year at ICCC, it was a smashing success because we went down, we helped them set up, we try to give them a lot of value. We always pump up ICCC. They remember us as a result of that, and it doesn't really cost anything to be good to each other, and it just creates nothing but goodness and positive energy in a community. And so I was super excited to see that, and I'm glad we connected over all of this, for sure.
Me too. It's it's so simple, like a Delphi Rangers, who there is no way I would have found him if it wasn't for the 3 of you. And I know Delphi Rangers, he posted his collection now with Carbonites on his handle, and I looked at the like count. A Delphi Rangers notified me that Paul Sun Huang Lee himself liked that post.
Yep.
And
So,
that chain effect is just nutty to think about, you know. And I get so squirrely over these things because that would have never happened if it wasn't for this little community. So somebody could even sign up to be a supporter even if they don't buy anything. And I think anybody else maybe would put a dollar sign behind that, but no. If you think what I do is cool because it's so niche, then that means there's a great chance what I find you to do is also cool in return. And look at this collection. I mean, that's awesome. I love that. You know, I love to see how people find, you know, Carbonites into their, like how they work them into their collection. And I think Adelphi Rangers did a fantastic job with that.
Yeah.
I get out of seeing this just as much as maybe somebody gets out of seeing Carbonites. So.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because Adelphi Rangers and we got the same set. We got the Chapter 10 because I think we're constantly competing on who is the bigger Carson Teva fan. And
well, Paul's just happy there's a figure now.
Yeah, right. And I love your name for him too, Captain Polar Bear. I laughed, I roared so much over that one. I absolutely love that one because it's so fitting too. But yeah, I just love that sense of community, and that's one of our missions is that as we've been doing this is just building that network, building that community of friends, and because one of the things about Star Wars is found family, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then I will say, guys, I can brag because Vincent put one of these in with mine, and so I have one. I have a 7th Carbonite and I love the fact that you modeled it after you, Vincent. I think that's pretty cool. You got your own like mascot of the line, which is very dope. But yeah, guys, I've got one and you do not. So sorry to say. And but something we learned in this episode is that this is the production line, but Vincent has pre-production models. And think about that as a collector. And you can say that just the realization
you're killing me. You're killing me. Mm-hmm.
Well, as soon as you showed those to us, Vincent, I was like, oh, that's pre-production. Oh my goodness, those are my
didn't think about that. Thanks.
Well, I'll share this with you guys real quick. So I went to school down in Cincinnati, and they had like a school of design office. In that office, they have people that went to UC that then went on to work for a big brand, and they have like prototypes in there, and they also have fully finished products, and there is a Kenner shelf.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
Yep. Yes. I mean, Kenner being in Cincinnati, so on there are Ghostbuster prototypes, and I'll throw you one that's pretty crazy. They are not behind glass. They are on just a regular shelf. You could pluck one if you wanted. If you felt like being a ninja that day and just sneaking in there all quiet and grabbing one. I mean, to dust these things, they're probably constantly picking them up and then putting them back. And there's even a carded like purple Darth Vader, which is pretty insane. Or purple lightsaber Darth Vader, I should say.
Oh, wow.
So, and then the surrounding comic book shops in that area, one in particular called the Toy Department, which is in Fairfield, crazy amounts of prototypes. And they have the rocket firing Boba at that toy shop. So that was definitely an enriching experience if you're a Star Wars fan going to Cincinnati.
Wow. That's very cool.
One of these days, it is on my list of things to do. Cincinnati's hit that toy shop. Just do a drive by where the building used to be. I understand it's not there anymore, but just to say I was there.
And in fact, if my dad's listening to this, Dad, cover your ears because I went down. I went down to tour just to see where the building is. And they built like a Hamilton County like Justice Center or department there. Don't really know what it is, if I'm being honest. But I do know there's lots of cop cars in that area. And I parked down there so I could just walk around the building, take in, see if I can smell some of that Kenner plastic or whatever, And because we're all plastic addicts at the end of the day. And, you know, the thing is,
Yeah.
I got a parking ticket. I parked the wrong way down there, and that's my fault. But just to see the old Kenner building, which really isn't there, it was turned into a Justice Department. 10 minutes later, I walked back to my car, parking ticket. So I then walked back across the street to pay it, because that's the same building you have to walk in to pay it anyways. That was probably one of the most expensive experiences I've ever had, and it lasted 15 minutes, maybe.
Is there a copy of that framed in the office there in the room?
There needs to be. I think I was so ashamed about it that I didn't. I don't know where it is.
Oh, you need to wear that like a badge of honor.
That's too funny. That's too funny. Excuse me. Sorry, Vincent. Is there? So we're going to transition into collection corner really quick. But is there anything else about? And we'll give you a chance. We'll bring up on your screen. We'll bring up on the screen again your site and everything before we do final sign-offs. But is there anything else you'd like to wrap up about Carbonites before we move over into collection corner? Or guys, do you have any questions?
Yeah,
the little Carbonite figure. Which package does that come in?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
yeah, that one.
Yeah. So anytime somebody buys Carbonites for the very first time, that will enter into their package. Just as a little thank you. On the bottom, I don't have one handy on me. Brown Leader, could you? I know it essentially says thank you for purchasing and supporting Carbonites. So when I had seen the order, I just assumed it was maybe going to one of the three of you, opposed to one to each of the three.
Yeah.
So maybe I can correct that mistake and make sure that
no, it's not a mistake. I made the purchase, therefore I get it. And those guys will have to make their own purchases.
I will have to make my own purchase because right about here in May is but just about every version of Han and Carbonite I can find. Even the small from the line that you just had there a minute ago.
Oh,
the Galactic Heroes?
Yes, the Galactic Heroes. Even that, right there. That's in there.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to buy a set so I can get the Carbonite.
Well, just so you know, depending on when you order, you could end up with one to open and one to
leave sealed.
One to leave. And one of the things I love too about the packaging. So when you open the package, what's it say down on the bottom right there?
Mint
in box.
Yeah.
And this is why I especially love it, because not only because of the collector's thing, but there is literally a mint in the box. Should have saved that.
I never knew what that meant growing up. I never knew what that meant growing up. I always thought that was a strange term. So when making Carbonites, I priced out how much it would be for a big bag of mints. And actually, I originally did Andy's mints, right? Because they're rectangular Carbonite. And I was like, oh, that's so cool, man. Like, it couldn't be any more perfect if you tried, until they melt. And then it doesn't work out so well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, doing the mints, it doesn't cost me a lot on the production side. For the smile it produces, it's so worth it.
And then
that's cool.
Instead of just an expiration date, it's unfreeze from Carbonite no later than the expiration date of. So I mean, he's every little detail, dude. Every little detail is just wonderful.
That's awesome.
Wonderful.
All right, that's going on the shelf.
What else did you want to? I'm sorry, Scruffy cut you off, Vincent. But what was the other thing you were going to say? I think before we moved over into transition, over into collection corner.
Yeah. No worries. I will show you a little Hyperspace Heroes podcast exclusive, and I'll show you some things I'm currently working on.
Oh, that's awesome!
So I am, and this is a rough prototype. You're going to see some tape on it. But I'm a very big Cad Bane fan, so I've been working on jumbo Carbonites.
Oh, very cool.
So if you're a fan of a particular character, maybe it's Republic Captain Polar Bear, maybe one that's about this big might really do it for you.
That's awesome.
And then, thank you. In the realm of the digital space, I have a photo on my phone here. A new category that's pretty much ready to go. So a new tile that says coming soon will no longer say coming soon. And that is going to be this one right here. I can get this to focus. That would be really, really cool.
Oh, Ahsoka and Asajj. Very cool.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
That's cool.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
So that'll go up very soon. I'll let you guys decide if that's going to be for the movie, the TCW 2008 movie, or for one of the seasons of the show. And then a pack I'm working on, and this is just the collage so far. It's missing one character. We've got one character left to go. And this would be for the OG BF2 from 2005 under the video game category. It would be these.
Oh, that's cool.
That's very cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So
That's
let's
awesome.
see. So, folks, if you're listening, go to the YouTube version about roughly an hour, 8 minutes in, and you can see those exclusives that Vincent shared with us right on the show. So very cool. Well, thank you, sir. That's awesome. That's very cool.
Thank you for giving me
DB, did you have
to advertise early?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, it's the start of the holiday shopping season, and I just got so enraptured once we met online and started talking, and I really started reading about your brand and everything. I got excited, and I wanted to share it, and I wanted to give people, because it's like I think I put it in a post somewhere. I was like, what do you get the collector like Scruffy that's already got everything? And you know, and it's like, this is such a unique thing that I was like, that's just cool. And you've in a nutshell captured the whole collector's mindset in terms of collectibles. And so I definitely wanted to, we wanted to do our part in the community to get the word out on your line. So
thank you.
For sure. DB, did you have anything before we move over to
it's just a whole new rabbit hole for Scruffy and I to go down. It's amazing.
Yep.
I do have a question, and feel free to tell me it's none of my business. Have you thought about creating Carbonites for any other franchises?
Ooh, yeah, that's a very good question. DB, it's a great question. I know you're a big Star Trek guy. So
no, that's Scruffy.
That opens the door for
no.
You know, my dad, he showed me an episode of Star Trek, and it's called the Carbonite maneuver. I think it's called
Carbonite maneuver. Yeah, has a young Clint Howard. Young Clint Howard is in that episode.
That twist ending I thought was fantastic, and my dad had to tell me, he's like, you know who that is, and of course I didn't, because it was so young at the time. But yes, Clint Howard of Solo fame, and many other projects too. But
and anything his brother directed.
yes. What did he yell in that movie? He's like, "Get your droid out of this." He was yelling about droids. That's all I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's something wild.
Right.
But,
it's funny. It's funny that. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No. I was just agreeing with Droid Bait, because I was actually thinking about the same thing when I was driving home tonight. I was like, man, you could totally, like, there's so many different collector spheres out there that you could translate this over. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. I do agree. The biggest thing is that Star Wars really has been a huge part of my life. So to open it up to another franchise would assume that I know a lot about the other franchise, and I know a lot about Marvel and DC, but even Transformers as well. That's been a growing one for me lately. But the thing is I just don't know if I could ever sink my teeth into something that much to really know what fans of it may want, but also the frustrations of collecting these lines for decades. And I feel like with the Galaxy Far, Far Away, my Inspired by products can maybe tackle some of those same nitpicks that I may have or frustrations. So I would say no to other franchises, mostly because there's so many other characters from a galaxy far, far away I can't wait to make, and there's so many to make. But I also don't know if I would know them well enough to really feel like I would know what people may want.
Sure.
Great question.
No, yeah, no, that's a great and a great
Absolutely.
response too. I completely understand that because you're right. I mean, we focus primarily on Star Wars because there is just so much. I mean, after 3 years of doing this show, we barely scratched the surface of Star Wars, and I mean, there's just so much to talk about. And you're right, to have to dive into another fandom that deep, that would be, yeah, literally jumping off the deep end.
Yeah, you would need an expert in each franchise if you wanted to go that route. That'd be challenging.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, I was definitely thinking right with you, DB, in terms of that, and about how it could with the right. Plus, if he started getting into other fandoms, that means he wouldn't be putting out sets of the current Star Wars, which would leave Scruffy just sitting on the couch in a fetal position.
Pretty much, yes.
Waiting
Pretty
for.
much, yeah.
Going, when's he coming out with that one? He's only got one more to do to finish that series. He's only got one more to finish that series. What's he doing?
Yep, going through my withdrawals. These guys have seen me do it.
How many different sets of murder bears can you actually come up with?
Oh, yes.
Murder bears would be cool.
Well, there's that whole TV show, so I could go very background with it, or like, okay, so Funko. They did a really cool 3-pack. I think it was Chirpa, Tebow, maybe Logray was the third. Loved that 3-pack so much. And then I think they made Wicket, and then they made another one. Somebody might have to help me. It's the one who was like banging on stormtrooper helmets during the victory celebration. And then they made...
I can't remember.
Okay. And they made Baby Nippet as well.
Yes.
And the Baby Nippet is a top 3 favorite pop that I own. And I think Baby Nippet is very ripe for Carbonites because of the cuteness factor. Ooh, it's there. So I think we can make a lot of murder bears, and I love that as a title for them. And I think I may have to give you guys some royalties on that one.
It's fine.
Use it. I got that from somewhere. I don't remember where the heck I picked it up at.
It's one of those things. In fact, I was just looking at a comment on Twitter today, and somebody referred to them as murder bears. So it's out there. But yeah, we use it. We've definitely glammed on.
But just think, you can, if you can get as obscure as Teak and whatever the heck Wilford Brimley's character was.
Well, then you've got Dulox. You've got
we need a holiday special one.
Oh, there you go.
Holiday special set.
Wow, that's a deep cut.
Yeah, look at all this free advice you're getting from it.
It's all part of being a community. We share.
I would love, drop me a line anytime, or anybody who's watching this, just send me a random direct message. Another part of my website is that the Carbonites is great, and I can pick characters that I want to make. I really want to do somebody who's inspired by Dr. Vindy from season 1 of Clone Wars. It's going to be inspired by a character, maybe purple scientist, long neck, blue virus man. But that is a character for me. It's a character for me, and I don't know if there's a market for that, but I want to make this character, right? And but there's a lot of people who would like to see somebody other than that, and it pains me that companies used to pay thousands of dollars for market research, and now the market research is a comment section. And I understand, don't listen to every comment that you get. That's imperative for any artist of any field. But if there are good-hearted comments out there where people really seem genuine about requesting something, then that is your market every single time. So to ignore that, to me, is beyond me. So that's something I won't do. So whether it be murder bears or teak or blue shadow virus long neck scientist, I'll try to do it.
Or crabby bartender for Word the Bartender from
there you go. I mean, the potentials are limitless. I mean, they really are. It really is. And then with each new Disney show, and I mean, it's just crazy. Now you got Skeleton Crew to draw from, and there's going to be a lot of cuteness around that show, I think. And,
Neil?
I mean, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So, one thing I wanted to add before we transition segments, Collector's Corner, I just wanted to say this. I've always enjoyed too, like Reddit, going and seeing like the archives. I've always looked up on Google, every galactic hero ever made, and it's the complete list, so I can get the checklist, see the ones I've missed. There's always that like exclusive, and it's not on the person's list, so the list feels incomplete. One thing that you'll find with the website, it is not only the shop, but it's also the archive. It's going to be both. On Hasbro's website, I would have really enjoyed if it was also the archive. Yeah, the item might be sold out, but I'd still like to see the bio they wrote for them and everything.
Yeah.
And with Carbonites, there's really no need for a Carbonite to sell out. It'll be here as long as somebody wants it, because that's some of the worst things about being a collector, right? So it's also going to be the archive. It'll be there to look at and reference if Carbonites ever gets to that point. So
right. No, that's that again, just nailing the whole collector's mindset. Totally. Yeah.
Hey, we got one more suggestion for you.
You know what? I was going to say if you put that on screen, I'm banning him from the show. So I'm kidding, Maya. Jeremiah, I'm kidding. But
I'm not.
Jeremiah. The villain, Jeremiah, I don't know their name from Turkish Star Wars, but the villain who kind of looks like General Grievous before he becomes General Grievous, just like the Kaleesh warrior. I know he has like a beard when he takes the mask off. He is pretty cool. I will give you that. And who knows? Under the website, there's a section that says parody. And there's been many great parodies from a galaxy far, far away. And I would, if you don't mind, I would call that a parody, and maybe that'll end up on there. So thanks for the.
Have you actually seen Turkish Star Wars?
I have. It is the Indiana Jones music kills me. I've watched that opening sequence where it's their version of a title crawl, and it's what it is like an antidepressant commercial. Just put the film. It's so strange.
That is the single best description of that movie.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I called. Oh, go ahead, Vincent.
Say the training scene in the desert, like the desert where the two of them are training.
It was so horrible.
Like an 80s cologne commercial too.
Yes.
It's just
I was just waiting for Eye of the Tiger to start.
Yeah. So if you ever do that line, so I dubbed that guy Darth Toothpick, because he's got all those weird little things that come out, and they looked like giant toothpicks sticking out. So feel free to use that if you want. Whatever. Yes. But toothpick. Right on.
And we are gonna do a Turkish Star Wars review here pretty soon.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
Nope. Is that going to be our second dumpster fire episode?
Yes,
that could be.
Really? Like we've only had one dumpster fire on this show?
One official dumpster fire show.
Okay. One official, yes.
Only one.
Hey, Vincent.
Spaceballs. There's a parody. Yeah, you could do Spaceballs.
Oh yeah.
Vincent, did you watch the show last week?
Fantastic.
Okay, do you have a shake weight anywhere near you?
Wait, this is the one with Michael?
Shake weight.
If you have a shake weight.
Oh, please. Oh, please.
I have a very big water jug to refill my water bottle. That's about as best as I can do. So I don't know if I could do the move.
It's got to be a shake weight, man.
The best part about the best part about the post, I like leaning back while you're laughing, and
yes,
and it all looks like you guys are doing the shake weight.
Yep. Yeah. It did. He framed that perfectly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. Well, it's been Vince. It's been an absolute delight learning about Carbonites. And again, like I said, we'll touch back on Carbonites. And I'll bring the name of the site up on the screen and everything, and we'll make sure that we go over all that. We'll plug it one more time. But guys, if you're ready, let's transition over into Collection Corner. And that's it. All right. Scruffy, Comic Book Wednesday, right?
Yep, I picked up a couple issues. But really, that's all I've added to the collection lately. Oh, yes. There we go. There we go. That's an epic cover.
That is an epic cover.
The bounty hunters are there.
Yeah.
With them hanging out with the murder bears.
Yeah. No, that is a cool line. That was courtesy of you, Scruffy. So thank you.
Absolutely. So yeah. But beyond that, my total focus. I've got a couple things I need to dig out of the collection for that I sold while I was at ICCC. Micah and Alfie from Rule of Galaxy. I've not forgot about you guys. I have them. They're there. I just got to dig them out and find them, and I will be doing that here in the next couple of weeks. Other than that, that is really all I've added to the collection this week was a couple comic books. What do you guys got?
DB, are you ready?
I am ready. And okay. I don't have anything necessarily new this week, but I dug out something just for Vincent.
Oh, yes.
My daughter is now a teenager, and so I have inherited these things from her.
Oh, yes.
No! Get out of town. Those are sweet. Oh, the N1 too?
Oh, I've got a snow speeder.
Oh, you got the snow speeder?
Man.
I've got a land speeder.
Wow.
I've got this is Vader's TIE fighter without its wings, but look what it has in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. I have an entire box of these things that she has decided are no longer cool. She'll come back to her senses. She's a teenager.
Well, yeah, and same thing here. There was a time when I didn't think it was cool anymore.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, she handed me this box, and it's made its way to the man cave to be sorted and shelved with that stuff.
All other 1 billion pieces to the collection. Yeah,
it's not new. It's just new to me.
That's awesome.
That's all I got.
Vincent, how many Galactic Heroes are there?
It's a wonderful question. Top of my head, all I know is that I would love to say, I'm very lucky to say that I have about 200 of them, and no duplicates. Like,
wow.
Okay, I'm not going.
I know, and I know that I'm very lucky. My parents were very good to me Christmas and birthdays. So at that age, I didn't have money to buy. I mean, I was 7, 8, 9, 10 at the time. So the thing is I know that I'm missing probably around like 60 that are in the single packs. And then there's some play sets as well where there were exclusive characters and play sets. So I'll say that there's probably about 300. But I will admit, of the 200 I have, which is so awesome I can say that, I have all the ones that I really want. So I'm very lucky. Very lucky.
Well, Vincent, you'll be happy to know that when my wife and I were first dating, and I was trying to, break it to her that I was, this major nerd.
She didn't know.
I faked it well. Okay, I can blend in with normies. All right. I would actually buy her 2 packs of the Galactic Heroes, and she called them chunky guys. But they were Galactic Heroes, and I would buy her them all the time. She still has all of them completely sealed, and they're not part of this collection. She's got them in our room.
Wow.
That's
okay.
Awesome.
If you're ever in the market for some samples, we can make some trades here.
You think she's going to give them back to me?
Heck no.
No, I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
No, but if anybody hears this, she's probably going to file divorce papers tomorrow for me telling the whole world.
Yeah, that's possible.
You didn't
What I
hear any of.
You're right.
Yeah. And what I
Yeah.
love, one of the things I love about Star Wars is that for Vincent, Galactic Heroes was the jumping in point, right? And so there's different. The fact that Star Wars is now pushing 50 years old, and the fact that we've got multi generations and different. Well, and I think and to tie this into modern day, I think Skeleton Crew is going to be a great jumping in point.
Oh yeah,
for new fans.
absolutely.
A modern day Goonies in space, I think, is going to be a great starting point for even kids younger than Brownie 4. So I think it's gonna, and everybody's got their jumping in point, which is one of the reasons we always follow up with what does Star Wars mean to you? Is what was your first experience? Because we've talked to so many different people now that have had different jumping in points because it's such a big, massive universe. So
Yeah.
it's all good stuff. All good stuff. Vincent, what's something in your collection that is like easy within reach, or something that like what's a really prized piece of your collection that you have, because you can tell that you've got a nice collection sitting behind you? I wonder if he can hear us.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I think my connection might have cut out on me, Brown Leader. Could you say it again?
Yeah, no worries. So what's something in your collection? You've got a nice looking Black Series with the helmets and the figures, but what is there like a particular piece in your collection that's just a really cool piece that you have? Like, do you have any Grail pieces
it's a great
or anything? Yeah.
Ooh, it's a fantastic question. I got an obscure one for you, and it harkens back to that photograph of me at Disney with the 4 Jedi. And so I alluded to it earlier. I'm a big Cad Bane fan. That's my guy. And so when we went to Disney, they had these like,
yes, that's cool.
Where
DB, where are you?
DB,
Hang on,
DB.
I'm getting back.
DB, you got to see this.
Show me.
All right. So it's
That's
Cad
cool.
Bane as Goofy from like the Mickey Mouse characters. Yeah, and it's
that's
so
awesome.
random, but I love it. And Cad Bane, he was fresh on the scene at the time. So we went in 2008. Clone Wars, it was like the last episode of season 1. So he really was just on the scene. And then a few weeks later, that was one of the only ways to get him as a figure, besides just the 3.75, which I didn't collect because I did the Galactic Heroes at that age. So what's really neat about this Goofy Cad Bane in particular is that we didn't find him at Disney World or MGM or Hollywood Studios, whatever you want to call it. We kept finding the same few. There was Leia in the bikini as Minnie Mouse, which I'm shocked Disney made, but that was a different time. And because it was like Minnie Mouse. And I'm like, I don't know if they've ever made Minnie in a bikini in anything, let alone a Star Wars bikini. So there was that. There was Donald Duck as Darth Maul. They had all these different characters that were like from the movies. But the Goofy Cad Bane was like the only guy straight up from the show. And I've always loved Goofy growing up. So it was so perfect. And then as time has gone on, I've tried my best to collect the other ones. So there's Stitch as General Grievous.
That's awesome.
Oh,
yeah, it's so perfect because Stitch has the 4 arms. So General Grievous with the 4 arms. And then this one was from opening day of Star Wars Weekends 2012. And I think exactly 2012 that were produced. And they took the Darth Maul, Donald Duck, and they made him into Savage Opress.
Oh, that's cool.
Neat.
That's
cool.
Yeah, so those are the Grails, specifically the Cad Bane. And another really cool thing is, just like with the Galactic Heroes, they actually don't cost a lot of money after all this time. I feel bad that if somebody was super into Kenner and that's your Star Wars, you're going to be taxing for it big time. But for me, I'm grateful in the sense that to get a sealed Galactic Hero, they're not too bad. maybe only double the price they used to be. And that's the same with these Disney figures. So from Star Tours. So yeah, pretty lucky.
That's very cool.
Very lucky.
Nice.
That is a
Very
nice
lucky
line
that
right
somebody
there.
was trying to finish some of that vintage collection.
Yeah, right on, right on. Oh, that is very cool. I didn't even know those things existed. That is a cool line. Goofy Cad Bane. That's dope. Okay, so for my portion of Collection Corner, obviously, have the right way. The stuff from Vincent here at Carbonites. And again, I'll tease you guys one more time. There's your sets, and so you only got a few more.
I'm trying to look around the corner to see what it is.
Yeah, right.
It looks like that old generic packaging. It just should have a barcode that says Carbonites.
Right.
Yeah.
The black and white generic box.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the other thing I had was I walked into my office a couple days ago, and there was a shopping bag on my desk, right in the middle of the desk.
It's not chocolates.
It is not chocolates. I will say that. And what it was two things that a Boba Fett with the Funko with the comic, which was one of those things I'd always had my eye on, but I wasn't going to pay the full retail value for. And then the other thing was something I didn't even know existed. And, we like to have fun because Funko came out with their Hyperspace Heroes line of of the characters with the ships and everything, which Funko, we did have the name first.
Where's my royalty check?
Right.
It's hard to see, but I've got it back here. And it's the N1 with Mando and Grogu. But what I found in the other package in my office was a Mando with R5. And as a person building an R5 army now, I didn't even know that existed. And both of these items are courtesy of Droidbait himself. So thank you, Droidbait. It was very cool to walk into my office and find both of those. Thank you very much. Very, very much.
That's really cool. I mean, they easily could have they made that N1 just to kind of milk the idea of Grogu being in the pod.
Mm-hmm.
That was such a cool dream come true moment to see the astromech in bed, and then they have it come all the way to pop form. That's great.
Yeah, and of all droids, R5, bringing him all the way back from the first movie, which was very, 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 very cool.
Right.
Okay, so that's Collection Corner. Vincent, once again, let's see. Let me bring up your site and tell folks again where they can find you.
Yes. So as you pull up that website, you can find us at Carbonites_co, CO on Instagram. And then from there, you can access our website, or you can just type it in at www.carbonites.company.site, and it should come right on up. Something that I wanted to just say, maybe encourage somebody as well, I'll put that up there, is definitely explore the website. You can read more about the story. You can read more about the impact you could have, or just the product itself. I'd encourage anybody that if they support this podcast, be a supporter on our website. I think that would be super cool to bring what you do, just as the Brown Squad here has allowed me to do. It's a very powerful thing, helpful thing, but it's also it's easy to spread the word. So we love to help do that. And under your impact, and then if I think it's your I'm gonna have to be, I don't even know my own website here, guys. That's unfortunate. Oh yes, building or brand direction. There we go. Under brand direction. Thanks, Brown Leader. Yeah. Under brand, and there's a little there, and what it is a Google that allows you to collaborate with us if you want. It on that fan film, you want to bring your characters to life, I want to do that with you. So if you fill out that form, maybe we can find a way that if you know 6 characters and you want to bring them to life, let's do it. I can't guarantee that it'll be mutually beneficial, but it's something I really want to take Carbonites to. And I think that's kind of the next step to take it is, there's 3D printing options with 3.75s or even 6-inch, but it's hard to keep things consistent. So if you like Carbonites and you want to see your characters from your fan film or just your artwork in Carbonites form, I think that's a really cool way to just make it really consistent across the board. So it does continue to be characters that the other companies wouldn't produce. And maybe Carbonites can help with that. So if that seems to fit you, that's something worth checking out. And I'd love to read any of those applications that come through.
That's awesome. That's very cool. Again, just building that community and building that support. That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome, Vincent.
Thank you.
All right. Scruff, are you ready?
I am ready.
Hold on. Let me get this off the screen and let me find the music. We'll jump into the last section of
The most important section of the show.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, so last week we had Michael Chan, and I don't know if you guys saw it. We did show his first Jedi affirmation, which was about midichlorians. I don't know if you've seen his newest affirmation, but it's about lightsaber length. And
yes,
it's even better than the midichlorian one. Oh my goodness. So all right, ready?
Ready.
All right, here we go. Dad joke of the week. Time to annoy Scruffy and DB. Dad joke of the week. All right, Scruffy's absolute favorite segment of the show every week. Dad joke of the week, courtesy of Kelly Knox's Star Wars Dad Jokes. And here we go. Why did Darth Vader decide to make his home on Mustafar? It's just so lovable.
That was Dad Joke of the Week Now don't you feel absolutely complete?
Nope.
All right. Well, Vincent, it has been a joy to have you on and to learn about your business. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, let's stay in contact. Would definitely be interested. Let us know when you're coming out with those jumbo size ones, and we'll definitely help you do a push on that for sure.
Absolutely.
That is pretty darn cool. So, yeah, any final comments, guys? Anybody? Next week is Skeleton Crew, right?
Oh, I cannot wait.
Mm-hmm.
We're having a Skeleton Crew on the show?
No, not quite. And actually, as far as a show for next week, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I know next Thursday we've been thinking about our local state theater is actually going to show A New Hope in Odawa, Native American language, and it's not very expensive to go see, and it's at 7:00. Maybe we'll do some remotes afterwards or something if we go. I'm not quite sure. So stay tuned to all of our social media. We'll let you know in terms of what's going on with the show next week. Maybe it'll be another special Wednesday episode. I don't know. The week after that, we have a guest lined up. So the week of the 9th, we have a guest lined up. And as long as everything comes through, we're going to be talking Star Wars Visions, and we're going to have somebody involved in the process that brought season 1 and has a hand in bringing season 3 to the screen that we'll get to see in 2025. So that's going to be an exciting interview for that as well. So, and then, we're debating on when we're going to take our Christmas break from the airwaves here. And then we're trying to line up a bunch of guests starting in January. So, yeah, just follow us on all our socials. Let's see if I could bring those up. Follow us on all our socials: X, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. We've been actively posting on all of those. You can find all of our links at beacons.ai/Brown Squadron. And once again, I can't tell you that I can't promote this guy enough. Vincent, thank you so much for coming on. I absolutely love your line. And I know as soon as these guys, so expect on December 26th, you're probably going to get some follow-up orders from these guys. So because they're going to have to start completing their collections. So by all means, probably. So yeah, Vincent, thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And any final thoughts, guys, before we do the sign off?
I just wanted to say, gentlemen, thank you for
us.
No, go ahead. Everybody talked at once. Yeah. Go ahead, Vincent.
Okay. No, I just wanted to say, gentlemen, thank you for letting me fly with you tonight. It's been an honor. This is my first podcast. And thank you. This was an absolute blast. I love talking to just fellow fans. This is great. Even but come towards me. So thank you so much. And I will do my best to promote your podcast to the best of my abilities. Because I enjoy listening to you guys as I'm working on Carbonites. I mean, that's so cool. So I can't wait for that episode with somebody who's worked with Star Wars. Really enjoyed last week's episode with Michael. So this was fantastic.
So thank you for the reminder, because I almost did the final sign off, and
we almost missed it.
We almost missed this. So shame on us.
I know, right?
So for Vincent, for coming on the show, all of our guests become honorary squadron members of Brown Squadron, and with that you get a Brown designation and a call sign. And so we usually try to relate the call sign something related to the guest, whether in real life or something related to Star Wars. And so you will now go down as Brown 71 and Polis, and this is a deep dive. So Polis is a planet in the Chorus Major sector, and it is one of the planets that is most heavily mined for carbonite. And it was an instrumental planet. Yeah. So it was an instrumental planet back before there was hyperspace. In Star Wars lore, there were things called generational ships, like what we would have in real life, probably, if we had to travel the stars, where you had multi-generations on a ship to get somewhere. And then finding the carbonite allowed them to start freezing themselves for deep space flight before hyperspace. And so I wanted to do a deep dive way back there. So Polis is the planet in that sector that is most heavily mined for carbonite.
I love it. That is perfect. I can't wait to rock that name going forward. Brown 71 Polis. I love it. Great research.
Yeah. Awesome. Absolutely. So yeah, welcome to the crew, sir. Welcome to the crew. Okay, with that, we're gonna get out of here. Like I said, you know where to find us. Beacons, you can find us on all of our socials, email at brownsquadron@gmail.com. And with that, we are gonna get out of here tonight, guys. And this is Brown Leader signing off for the crew, and you have been listening and watching Hyperspace Heroes. That's no moon.
Was it good for you?